Hello, everyone, and welcome to tonight's running of the over-the-top designed 140 right here at Chicagoland. Jeez, Will, that was bad. That was. I forgot where we were.
Yes, sir. We're in the Windy City here tonight, Chicagoland Speedway. Tim, not everybody's favorite track on the circuit, but excited to be here tonight as we're going to watch Justin Michael try to go 4 in a row in this series. And what a fantastic start it's been for him this season.
Listen, it's one of my favorite tracks to race on. I don't know what it is. I just have really good success here. And speaking of Justin Michael going for four in a row, tied completely tied for the pole, and they're giving the pole to Justin Michael. Wow.
And it's well deserved there, Tim, the way he's been racing so far throughout this season here. Like I said, with 3 wins in a row, got his turkey dinner last week here in NASRA, not going for 4 in a row. But Tim, first Chicagoland, we're watching the end of qualifying take place there. As just mentioned, Justin Michael is going to start off at the top of the grid. What's so different about Chicagoland? Why do so many people dislike this track?
I think a lot of people find it to be boring because you can get really spread out here. This track to me really forces drivers to drive. You can't really go into turn one gung ho, and turn one and three are different than each other. Turn one and two you may run that low line. Turn three and four you may run up against the wall. Turn one and two you may run against the wall. Turn three and four you may run down low. It just depends on what you're comfortable with and how the car is handling at the time.
Yeah, so it's going to be a tricky race for sure. But as we're waiting the cars to grid up here at Chicagoland Speedway, going to let the folks at home know if this is your first race tuning in here so far, Adam Newbert is currently on top of the table right now with a total of 204 points up there. He's got 4 starts with 2 top 5s and 2 top 10s. Justin Michael, as we just mentioned, with 3 wins in a row, is in second place in the overall point standings. Then Dustin Scruggs, the driver that we've been watching throughout, also has a pole on this season. No wins yet, Tim, but definitely a name to watch
Mm.
out for here tonight. Robert Richards down in the 4th position. And then our top 5 right now is going to be rounded up by Keith Haney right there, a driver that you love to watch each week here at NASRA.
Yeah, last week I believe Keith finished on the podium. I believe. I think he
Yeah, with
finished
one
third.
Yeah, 1 top 5, 3 top 10s on the season.
Okay,
Keith
yeah.
Haney, and a driver that you cheer for every week here at NASRA, Rhett Tucker, has now fallen 7 spots in the overall
Woo!
point standings with 3 starts, only 1 top 5 and 2 top 10s there.
Hey, he's making me put my money where my mouth is right now. Red Tucker, where are you?
Oh goodness, as this race is just about to start here, I want to break down what kind of format we'll be running here at Chicagoland. We're going to run a stage 1 of 30 laps. We're going to throw that caution flag. We're going to take a break in the action. Stage 2 is going to end at 65, so we're going to race it out for another 35 laps there. We're going to race it out to the end there for a total of 140, Tim. So we're looking at around 35 more laps after that stage 2 ending at right there, because that'll put us at a total of 95. Then we're going to race it out there towards the end. We're on a fixed setup here at NASRA. These drivers will have 5 sets of tires on that machine, a 50% fuel capacity, and a rule that I love to see here in iRacing is 0 fast repairs, Tim. So that means these drivers have to be very skillful on the wheel and watch out throughout the race, because any sort of damage on that race car is going to cost you a lot.
Especially here, Will. Aerodynamics is going to be everything around this track. So if you're on that high line, if you get in the wall, there's going to be some problems.
Yes, indeed. As we're awaiting the start of this race here, Tim, we just mentioned Rhett Tucker there, Justin Michael. Scruggs going to start second there. Hartwig is going to start third. Richards is fourth. Pappas is fifth right now. Adam Newbert, who's had one heck of a season, our points leader so far in the season, is going to start sixth. Raul Meza is going to start seventh. Abbott is going to start eighth. Haney is going to start ninth, and then another Haney right there as well is going to start
His
10th.
dad.
Hey, that's
I,
his dad right there.
I found out.
And and Moore is gonna finish, or is gonna start on 11th position right now at Chicagoland.
Moore is our race control.
Ah, there we go. Just gonna. He needs one of those admin boxes, Tim. That way he can race.
Yes, he does. Hey, he would.
As we're
He'd be able to ride along and push the buttons. Make it happen.
as make it happen there. Make it happen, Captain. If you don't know about the admin box, we invite you to go check them out at adminbox.com. That's two X's. They can build a race control and admin device for your needs. USB plug and play there. And Tim, you can leave that thing in driving or pit mode. If you're driving, you make all your calls there right from the admin box. You don't have to sit on pit road and sit these races here out at NASRA. But the pace car is going to lead them down into corner number 3 here. About to go green flag racing here in NASRA.
I'm really excited for this race.
Yes, sir, indeed. We'll see if Justin Michael can get a good restart here with Scruggs right on the outside. There's got that chromed out 11 machine right on the outside lane. Artwig's running that Jeff Gordon paint scheme right there. More like a William Byron paint scheme, but we can call it a Jeff Gordon paint scheme. As Justin Michael is going to take him across the line here, down into corner number 1.
Man, that 48 of Robert Richards got a really good start in that outside lane. Was pushing that 11. He's going to get around that 24 on the outside. Great start from Justin Michael, but you see these are going to be the different lanes we're going to see. These guys running mid to high and then the low line. And look at that low line prevailing right now. Oh, and Adam Newbert.
Already a wreck there. Adam Newbert, our points leader, gets very sideways there on the backstretch. Just slipping and sliding across the track there. That beautiful Ford Mustang, I believe, took a little damage there, too.
Yeah, no caution. We're going to double check on everybody else real quick. Everybody else seems to be good. We're going to go back, see if we can't see this replay. Give me a second as we put this together. Man, that's not something you want to have happen this early on, by any means, Will.
Oh, not at all. That's very early there on the backstretch here. We're just a few laps in here. I believe we hadn't even completed lap 1. We already had a wreck there on the backstretch. Our points leader, nonetheless.
All right, here we go. You see Adam on that outside lane in that number 4 Mustang, getting up there, getting way too high, gets into the outside wall, comes across almost the nose, almost saves it, just tags the inside wall with the rear end. See a little damage there on the back, but nothing too bad. So we'll see how that affects him the rest of the race, which he's now going to have a long way to make up. And now look at this. Zach Hardwick is your race leader. Let's see if we can't find where that happened. Here we go. We're going to go back and take a look at this. Outside of the 87. Oh, clears the 87 in the outside lane.
A big move there out of that 24 machine. Now leading the race here at Chicagoland as we're just about 3 or 4 laps in right now, 4 laps to be precise. As Hartwick's going to take them across the line here as our race leader down into corner number 1. And what I'm seeing here, I'm not very familiar with Chicagoland, Tim, but it almost reminds me here that entry into 1, almost like a Phoenix, where you can go very low and then kind of drift right back up into the corner number 2.
Yeah, and I'll tell you another track that I always associate with this, Kansas. Kansas kind of has this, wide turn situation where guys run up against the wall or run the inside lane. But then you see coming across here at the start-finish line, like you said, it's almost like a Phoenix. Everybody's running it down on the apron and coming back up. Oh, man, Justin Michael looks like he's struggling a little bit here. Falling back to 4th place so far. I don't remember.
4th position right there.
Oh, sorry. I don't remember if he said he was good here or not last week. I don't remember.
No, I don't think a lot of people are big fans of this track here, but Raul Meza, who's really put forth a consistent effort throughout this season, now climbed himself up into the 3rd spot right there. A podium finish right now on lap 7. That 37 has been beaten and banging their way around the few weeks of this season. Just trying to get a consistent finish through there. Tim always seems to be tagged up there towards the end of these races.
yet another one. Last week's third place finisher, Keith Haney, up 5 spots since the drop of the green flag. So another guy you got to watch. Oh, Dustin Scruggs coming down pit road.
Yeah, already down pit road there for Dustin Scruggs. An early pit stop to get that out of the way here, folks. As just mentioned, we're going to run 30 laps here in stage number 1. So maybe just heading down pit road to get it out of the way early here, Tim. Or there might be something wrong with that number 11 machine.
Yeah, he seemed like he was a little. Every time I looked, it seemed like he was a little loose on that outside lane. So not sure. Looks like it was a quick stop and go. Maybe just gas. If we come back, the leaders are gonna probably lap him. See, the pit stop was 5.18 seconds, so couldn't have done much. And maybe he didn't. Maybe they don't have enough to get to the end of the stage, because I did notice they're running 50% fuel, I believe.
And taking a look there, Tim, Hartwick right now has only raced in one race so far this season. No laps led, very below in the points right now, about 20th in that points table. But making the most of his start here tonight, as he has the lead almost by a full second here on lap number 10. We are live here on 10-4 Broadcasting, bringing you Thursday night action out of NASRA. And as we come on to the broadcast here, Justin Michael in that 87 has won 3 races in a row, but tonight seems to be struggling just a bit, as well as our points leader coming into tonight. That 24 of Hartwick wasted no time there, Tim, on about lap 3, made that big move to the outside, overtook the 87, and hasn't looked back since.
No, he's doing a good job consistently with his lap times. I want to bring those up for everybody. Right now, Haney seems to be the fastest one on the track. Well, Scruggs ran a 31.69 because he's kind of in the draft with these guys right now. So right now, Haney, Meza, and Hartwick running pretty close lap times here.
Yeah, as mentioned, Raul Meza is trying to get a great finish here tonight. He has one top 5 in the season so far, Tim. So really trying to put himself out there in that 37. We see that 37 throughout these races. Race very strong, lap times, racing through the grid, staying consistent. But as mentioned, it's always those last little bits of the race where he gets tagged up, he drifts down the grid, gets damaged on that 37, and he just hasn't been very consistent or consistently finishing where he wants to in these races.
Yeah, and that's unfortunate for him, especially, when you're trying to go out there and compete for points and wins and everything of that nature. But he just seems to have been getting the raw end of the deal on some things. Same with Dustin Scruggs, just hasn't been able to capitalize and has been getting caught in other people's stuff here. So it looks like Dustin's actually catching the leader right now, going to the inside and getting his lap back.
He's getting that lap back here, Dustin Scruggs. And that's 2 surprises so far here tonight, folks. Adam Newbert, our points leader, coming in, is down in the 9th spot. Dustin Scruggs is in the 10th. We had 10 cars take the track here tonight at Chicagoland. As mentioned, this is not everybody's favorite track there, Tim, but hats off to the drivers who made the start here tonight. We're trying to chase down Hartwick in that 24 as we've about reached the halfway mark here in stage number 1.
And I believe everybody here tonight will get bonus points for being in the top 10. So that works into their favor.
Yeah, default finish in the top 10 for these drivers here tonight. As Hartwick now has a battle on his hands. Raul Meza's right there in that 37 as we come down into corner number 3 right now. Around 4, Hartwick still trying to hold off Meza in that 37. We have a battle ensuing now on the low side of 4. Meza thinks about the outside. He's going to go low here right on that start-finish line. Just not going to be enough to get around. He may have there. They're still side-by-side digging down into corner number 1. This is a battle for the lead right now on lap 16. Raul Meza's on the inside. Hartwick's on the outside there in that 24 as we come around 2 to the backstretch.
That 24 got really close to that wall. And what the 24 is trying to do right now to him is force him to that low line and use up his tires more. Because when you're in the outside lane, kind of just coast through with more speed, you carry through. And it looks like Heath Keith Haney and James Haney just
Right.
went down pit road.
Yep. Right now on lap 17, as mentioned, these drivers only run about a 50% fuel tank, so we're going to start seeing these drivers head down pit road here. That fuel window's pretty short here. Ooh, big move there from the 37. Had to follow back in behind the 24 of Hartwick as we dig down into corner number 3. You see that wheel movement here as we take an onboard ride with Raul Meza there. And that 37 is going to still think about the inside. I think he might have it there, Tim. Heading down the front stretch there, side by side here, crossing that start-finish line. Still Hartwick in the lead. Ooh, very close down into one side by side as we're racing, drag racing down into the corner.
And I want to ride on board with Zach because I'm telling you what I heard. Oh, and he crossovers! Takes the lead back from that 37. Wow. But I'm noticing, listening in on the onboard, Hartwick's tires aren't screeching like the 37s are, which means he's using up his tires more so than the 24 is. So 37's got to watch out for that if they don't wreck each other in this stage.
Yeah, quite the battle on our hands right now. But there's a lap car in the mix.
Oh,
right there.
3 wide!
3 wide as the lap car is going to go to the inside right there. Still battling to stay on the lead lap. But right now it's going to split Hartwick and Meza right there.
Wow.
Going to split 1-2, but Meza's going to hold on there. That Haney is trying to hold on to the lead lap as he goes around the leader here. That 37 Raul Meza and Hartwick are still battling it out here. 37 hasn't drifted back just yet as we dig down into 1.
Man, what a, I was concerned that the 37 was going to drift up into the 24 there when they were 3 wide, but he got out of it, fell back in line, and he's still battling for this lead right here with about 9 to go.
Yeah, with about 9 to go here in stage number 1. No cautions yet here in this race. The 24 has the 37 right there. Is going to hit that line here at lap 21. They're going to drag race down into corner number 1 here. The 37 of Raul Meza, the 24 of Hartwick. They're on the top side. 37 seems to have a run going around to that backstretch.
Oh, and he just keeps getting so close to that wall. Looks like Robert Richards now down pit road in that number 48. We've talked about him quite a bit over these weeks. I believe this is race number 6 in the books for tonight. I'm sorry, week 5.
This is week 5 here. Justin Michael has won 3 in a row, trying to go for 4 here tonight. Going to have a tough time doing it as he's down into 4th. But right now, the leaders on the track are Raul Meza in that 37 and Hartwick in that 24. Hartwick only has 1 start on the season. This is his 2nd start in NASRA this year, digging down into corner number 3. Right now, we're going to take an onboard ride with that 24 machine of Hartwick. And now he's starting to see that 37 starting to pull away from there here with 8 laps to go here in stage number 1.
You know, that 24 might have used up his stuff there, getting around the leaders in the very beginning of the race. Chicagoland is not very nice to these tires, so they're just going to have to take it easy and just let it come to them. And I'm still trying to figure out, are they going to come down pit road? Because we've seen quite a few drivers come down pit road, but not our leaders. And not many laps left in this stage.
Not many laps left indeed right now as we have 7 laps to go here in stage number 1. Counting down here to end this stage. We'll see that break in the action when that caution flag flies here in NASRA. Right now, Raul Meza in that 37 is now starting to pull away just a little bit. Ran a second faster there, Tim. But definitely starting to put that 24 in his rear view.
Oh, 1/100th of a tenth faster.
Oh, now it kind of changed a little bit there. But still, Raul Meza in that 37 with 6
Oh,
laps.
the 8's in the
Right
wall.
where he wants to be.
Phil Pappas just scraped that outside wall. Man. But that's what I'm talking about. You know, it's difficult to run that line, but it I believe is faster. So it's it's a matter of when do you want to push your car to the edge of its capability. And apparently that's what the 8 wants to do right now. Going around that 24. Looks like 24 might head down pit road. No. He just was so low I thought he might.
Yeah, think about here with about 5 laps to go here in stage number 1. Have that break in the action. But right now, Raul Meza in that 37 still our race leader with 4 laps to go. And you see now Pappas is in second. Hardwood got past there, dropped down into third. Our 3-time winner in a row, munched on that turkey dinner last week. Justin Michael in that 87's down into the 4th position. And Abbott right now is going to be our top 5 right there with 4 laps to go here in stage number 1 and the over-the-top designs 140.
Oh, and now Phil Pappas going down pit road. In that number 8, you see some damage to the right side where he smacked the wall. Let's see if this 37 is going to go in. This is he's almost running 2 seconds faster than second place right now. Comes through 3 and 4, diving down for pit road. Oh, getting it slowed up, woed up. Oh, locks it up. Did he make pit road speed?
That is the question there, Tim. As Raul Meza in that 37 is going to head down pit road right now with 3 laps to go here. 2 laps to go, excuse me, here in stage number 1. And now my question to you, Tim, would you have held on there to end the stage, get your bonus points, or is it wise for these drivers to head down pit road right now?
Well, I'm not sure because we can determine that if we see Justin Michael dive down pit road or if he runs out of gas. Because then I would decide if they made a right call or not. Looks like he's coming around. He's still staying on the track. Lap 29 here. He's got to get to the end of lap 30. So he technically has 2 more laps around if he has enough fuel. Maybe this is why he wasn't leading or he wasn't pushing so hard in this first stage.
Yeah, he is not pushing too hard, but now he's pushed his way up into the lead there in that 87 here as a white flag waves here in stage number 1. The 87 is now our race leader, but that 8 right there, if Pappas wants to get that lap back there, he crossed the line here, lap 30 across this line one more time would be the end of stage number 1. Justin Michael in that 87 is coming off 3 wins in a row here at NASRA, but it looks like the stage is going to end there.
He's going pretty slow. Brian Abbott just dove down pit road. I want to go on board.
Justin Michael in that 87.
I hear him turning off the engine.
He might be out of gas here. He's going to go and get these bonus points crossing this line here on lap 30.
Oh,
31
he wins.
Now as we're under caution here. We have our first break in the action.
All right, so he keeps cutting off the engine. I know you can't hear it, but our viewers at home can. He keeps coasting because, see, here's the issue now. He's got to keep going around to get with the pace car and then come down pit road. So he's got to have enough gas to do all of that.
Yeah, he's going to have a long way to go there, Tim. Get that thing down pit road, but it's going to be Justin Michaels, our stage number 1 winner here. And what a brave move that was, but I believe you're catching up with him on the radio.
Hey, Justice, Tim, you got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Hey, man, first off, how much gas you got left in that baby?
I mean, I'm pitting under a closed pit, so I'm out.
That's what I was wondering. I was like, I don't even think pits are open yet. That's wild. So you were going for bonus points over position at this point for the end of this stage. Why is that?
Oh, just throwing a little thing into the mix there, see if it worked, and it did. But I figured that somebody else would try it, so I figured we would try it. I almost didn't do it, but about 10 laps in, I think I could pull it off.
I would say I thought part of your strategy, you kind of dropped back, so I was like, okay, now that we've come to the end of the stage, I think I understand why he's not up there running full throttle. So, wow, that's great job. I think you've extended this is now stage win in a row number 10. Yes.
Well, next one will be interesting because I'm starting at the tail end, so let the drive through everybody.
Yeah, that's gonna be fun to watch. But it's going to be another sprint, so now you should be I believe there'll be so many caution laps you'll probably make it to the end.
No, this one's 35 to. This one goes to 65, so no, I don't think so.
Oh, okay. Got it. All right, well, good luck the rest of the race, and maybe we'll see you after win number 4.
Thanks, guys.
And that is Justin Michael in that number 87. Oh, I think I moved the wrong person.
And what an impressive performance it has been for him so far here, Tim. But as you mentioned, he basically just raced that stage down there for that bonus points, ran out of gas there, heading down pit road, had to go down pit road there, and he's still trying to fight his way into pit road. What a fighter it is in Justin Michael in that 87. What a streak it would be for 4 in a row. I just did a league last night where somebody was going for 5 in a row.
Wow.
Streak at 4. So it is awesome to see these type of drivers, these skillful drivers, if you will, here in the iRacing setups. But I feel like here tonight, we got Hardwick out on the course, been leading most of the race here in that 24 machine. Only has one start in the season coming into tonight, really showing his stuff there in that 24. Scruggs in that 11 always has something for us here at 10-4 Broadcasting. Relon, as I spoke about him in that 37, Tim, has really put forth an effort week in and week out. Just hasn't crossed the finish line first. We spoke to him, I believe, because he had a podium finish in the first couple weeks of the season, but hasn't been able to put that 37 green machine across victory lane here. But just a few names to watch out here, folks, as we're on lap 34. We're going to race it down, I believe, to lap 65 there, Tim?
Yes, I believe so. So another 30 laps. It's going to be difficult for them to complete the stage again. Gas-wise, couldn't think of the word.
Yes, sir. As we're under caution here, we're going to step away for a short break, and we'll be right back here on 10-4 Broadcasting. And we are back live here on 10-4 Broadcast. We're on lap 34 here. No cautions on the track here so far. It was Hardwick in that 24 machine that crossed the start-finish line first here at the end of stage 1. No, actually, correcting myself as I'm talking, it was Justin Michael in that 87 who got the stage win.
Yes, he did. Stage win number 10 in a row. I don't even know. I don't know if anybody can beat that after this stretch of races that he's put together and stage wins.
No, I think you're the only one out there keeping track.
I think
there,
so.
Tim. I think he's won 3 races in a row. I think that's all he really cares about there in that 87. So how many wins he has in a row, but still a good feat there with 10 stage wins in a row. But I think it's just whether or not, as Vin Diesel and Paul Walker once spoke about, it doesn't matter if you win by 1 inch or 1 mile as long as you win here in NASRA.
Pace car is off. Drivers coming to the start-finish line. And that number 24 of Zach Hartwick is going to bring him to the green flag. And look at Robert Richards diving to the inside under Scruggs, battling for second place. This is going to allow Zach to pull away a little bit. And now this is the first time we're going to see Robert Richards up here for battling for the lead.
Yeah, 48 machines up there in the second spot as we're digging down into corner number 3 here. He's got Scruggs right behind him in that chromed out 11. Raul Meza down there in that 37's in 4th. Just Michael in that 87's now got that fuel tank nice and full right up there in that number 87 machine in 5th position. But right here, Tim, as we cross the start-finish line here on lap 37, this doesn't seem like a track, as I spoke about, this isn't a track I'm very familiar with. It looks odd to me here at Chicagoland. I can see why not many drivers like it here. Is it a track that you can really draft at? As we see a little bit of drafting
Yes.
down the backstretch here, is that 37 is going to go to the inside here at 3. as you see the drafting taking place on the backstretch, there's not many places to draft, though. As you see on the corners, it's very a wide banking corner there. You're going to use a little bit of draft to get around the guy in front of you, but it just seems like it's more of a free-for-all race there, to use the video game term.
Well, with what I like about this track is the fact that you can, in the corner, slingshot around somebody. Just kind of draft up to them, cut down to the inside, or go to the outside, or even just push them down the backstretch. So there's just a lot of options here. It's unfortunate it's not on the circuit anymore. One of the big things I remember from Chicagoland, I don't know if you remember this, Will. I'm not sure how involved you were watching NASCAR in the 2000s. There was a huge Tropicana orange that was like a big blow up, and it had rolled over the fence out to the track. So it was supposed to be like
I do remember that.
Yeah, okay. So it was the Tropicana 400 is what this race used to be called, and one year the wind I think was just so much that it just took it straight to the track.
I do remember that here, and Tim, for the folks at home that might not know why Chicagoland got taken off the circuit, do you know why this track got taken off the rotation?
Well, from what I heard, they sold the land to a development company that wants to put apartments on the land. Unfortunately.
Oh.
So nothing fun.
Yep, that seems about right here. It just seems
just like in West Palm, we lost. Yeah. West Palm just recently over the summer lost Palm Beach International. Yeah. Love that track. I love that. I got to drive a Ferrari on that track, and it's so fantastic. But Walmart bought the land, which I don't want to get into the politics of it, but I don't understand. There's so much land down in that area. You and I have both been there. There's other places you could have put a warehouse.
Oh, definitely, Tim. As talking about a battle on the track here, we have Justin Michael right there in the 4th position. He's now trying to hold off 2 cars behind him. He's got Scruggs in that 11. He's got Haney as well. They're about to go 3 wide, but now Haney's trying to make it move on Scruggs down the backstretch here. As now Haney's getting pushed by, I don't know which one is which, but that is a father-son duo here on the track.
Oh, Scruggs going in.
Up at the top. Yeah, Scruggs going down.
Justin Michael's
going down.
Oh, he's got to get slowed up. I don't think he was slow enough. Those tires were rotating way too fast to even be remotely slowed up. We're going to find out if he gets a penalty. Everybody watch Justin Michael. I think he may have been entering pit road too fast.
Yeah, may have been there, Tim. As right now we're on lap 43. Got about just over 20 laps to go here in stage number 2. We saw Justin Michael there in that 87 win stage number 1. Comes into this race with 3 victories in a row. Has really been the name to watch here in the NASRA Xfinity Series, the over-the-top NASRA Xfinity Series, if you will.
Over-the-top design.
Over-the-top designs. There we go, Tim. As now Hartwick in that 24 is going to resume his spot at the top of the grid.
Yeah, now Justin Michael and Justin Michael and Dustin Scruggs are both a lap down now. Phil Pappas in that number 8 coming down pit road. Robert Richards coming down pit road. And you can see over there on the scoreboard that shows when the driver is in pit. And now we've got 4 drivers a lap down.
Already, Tim, we have 4 drivers a lap down. Richards is our last lead car on that 48, but if he doesn't go to pit road soon here, he too will go a lap down as Hartwick's crossing around corner number 3 down into 4 right now. I think about putting Richards in that 48 a lap down as well. It looks like Richards going to come out of pit road 28 seconds behind the leader, but here comes Hartwick in that 24. Looks like he's going to put that 48 a lap down. That's going to leave us 5 cars in the lead lap right now, Tim.
Oh, yes, you're right. I was looking at my scoreboard. I was like, I think there's only 1, but he's 5 seconds behind. But I believe he's about to lap all 3 of those guys that are in pit road right now. And that'll be interesting because what if okay, all right, here's a scenario for you, Will. What if Oh man, this will be a wild story. What if Hartwick can do what Justin Michael just did and push it all the way to the end of the stage? He would trap every single one of them a lap down.
He would, but that's a really gutsy move there for Hartwick in that 24. As we got just over 18 laps to go here for the end of stage number 2. And we saw Justin Michael take that strategy. The last stage actually rode that thing down all the way down into E, as I used to do when I was still a student there. You would make sure you had the last little drop of gas. If you had to push that thing in the gas station, you would do just that. As Justin Michael had to get basically a push down around the track there, shut that engine off and let that thing coast. As now Hartwick and Michael are battling out here down to corner number 3. Of course, Michael is a lap down currently, but are only 3 cars on the lead lap. And Tim, for Hartwick in that 24, if he does assume that strategy, you gotta think though when they battle it out there for those last, because we're gonna look at around, stage 2 is gonna end at 65, looking at around another 40 something laps to go.
25.
At the end of that. 85 laps to go.
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. I thought you were talking about. Yeah, something like that. And a question for you, Will. You still don't drive to the last drop? Because I do. It's like Folgers in my coffee,
Well, believe it or not, Tim, after I just bought my car, it's an oldie but a goodie there. It's a 96 Mercedes C280. I knew what needed to be fixed, but then one day I was still door dashing. I could smell a little gasoline. I said, ooh, that's not good. Come to find out, I was leaking fuel out of my fuel filter. So,
oh, boy.
That was a little surprise fix there.
Hey, at least you were able to smell it and fix it.
Yeah, I thought it was just a nice gasoline that we have down here in Florida when I went to the gas station. Nope, it was just the fuel fumes coming back into the cabin.
Well, at least you didn't have a hurricane and start the car in the garage, all right?
This is true. We don't want that action going on there.
As
that thing is
now Raul, or how you say? Oh, you say it so perfectly.
Raul.
Raul. Okay, got it. Raul. Just got his lap back, so now the only drivers left is Keith Haney, Phil Pappas, Brian Abbott, and James Haney, all a lap down. So now, I gotta say, now I don't agree with how long he stayed on the track, and here's why. The longer he stays out, the faster they're going to catch him. But if he went in after he had lapped them all, he might have been okay.
This is true, but there goes that Hardwick in that 24 machine rocking a William Byron paint scheme here tonight. I know you have an affinity for Jeff Gordon, but there goes that 24 down pit road. Now is going to go ahead and get that pit stop out of the way here with just under 13 laps to go here in stage number 2.
Man, 13 laps to go. This race is really flying by. We've had no cautions for wrecks, but actually, Newbert is our race leader right now. He, had early trouble on lap 1. Still a little damage to the left rear quarter panel. Actually, he shut the engine off.
You shut the engine off there in that 24?
No, the number 4. He is pushing the limits. Watch the RPMs. 8,000. Boom, shut off.
Ooh.
So he's shutting the car off into each corner. So he's pushing the limits of this. He's trying to do what Justin Michael did.
Trying to get those bonus points here in the over-the-top designs Xfinity series. This is brought to you by 10-4 Broadcasting. We're live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch simultaneously at the same time as we're on board with Adam Newbert here, our points leader heading into tonight. As Tim mentioned, he had early trouble in this race. It was about a half there, barely into lap 1 where he ran into trouble. We got about 10 laps to go here in stage number 2. We saw the same strategy out of Justin Michael to end stage number 1, where that fuel tank is on its fumes right now. He's shutting that thing off down into the corner, turning that race car back on about the apex of the corner of 3 and 4. Didn't do it that time, though.
Yeah, no, he did not. Maybe he's maybe he's teetering on the line of enough, not enough, because that's a game you play. Because yeah, now he is no longer doing that. But I know you don't, or I don't. Have you actually gotten a race in iRacing before yet?
I have not. I have not
Not
made my
okay.
iRacing debut just yet.
Well, in one of the tabs that you can have open, it'll show you like how many gallons of fuel you have and how many laps you have left. Okay, so that's a constant battle. He's actually coming down pit road right now. So now I don't know if that strategy was worth it.
Now, we see that number 4 machine of Adam Newbert, our current points leader, gonna take that 4 machine down pit road here. As Justin Michael in that 87 is gonna be our race leader in just about a lap. Gonna go
Right
around
there.
that 4 on pit road. Across this line here on lap 57. Gonna have just over 8 laps to go here to end this stage out. As now Justin Michael in that 87 and Richards in that 48 are 1-2 heading to the backstretch.
And coming down the backstretch, let's take a look at times here. Right now, Michael, about 300ths faster than Richards, and Scruggs a little bit faster than Richards as well. See this time by 32.37 or 32.50 for Michael, and Richards 32.55. So Michael really picked it up, or Richards picked it up that time around.
Yeah, definitely did there in that 87, trying to go for 4 in a row here tonight. Got his turkey dinner last week here in the over-the-top design Xfinity Series out of NASRA. But here on lap 58, things are going to start to get closer and closer as these laps tick down, as all these drivers are freshies on these race cars. They have a nice full fuel tank as we creep down to the end of stage number 2.
And it's really flying by. Only been racing for 35 minutes here on 10-4 Broadcasting. Want to thank everybody for tuning in every Thursday night here for the NASRA Over the Top Designs Xfinity Series. This is week number 5. Next week, Will, let me take a look really quick. I believe next week we're at Darlington. That's going to be a goodie.
And Cannot wait for next week there, Tim.
And then we go to Talladega, Road America, Pocono, or I like to call it Pinocchio, and then Martinsville. Martinsville on October 27th for the final points event. 10 races for this season. This is season number 1. And then we head into the Sweet 16 for 2 weeks, the Elite 8, and then the Championship 4 at Nashville Superspeedway.
Quite a long ways to go here, Tim, in this season. You know, it's been Justin Michael that has led the way here so far here tonight, or in this season, with 3 wins in a row. Is back up to where he is most comfortable there at the top of the grid. Ooh, got a little bit loose there. The 48 to the inside here across the start-finish line here. This is a battle for second place right now. We saw that 48 just get the wiggles there as we dig down to corner number 1. Scruggs is down on the inside there in that 11. Is going to think about it there. He's going to lose a little bit of speed coming off of 2. Down the backstretch right now, the 11 is just now on that back quarter panel. Is going to file back in as we head down into 3.
And that's something else, Will. So when these drivers dive to the inside like that, you saw it right there in turn 1. He had to check up a lot because if he didn't, that car would start drifting up into the 48th lane and possibly cause a wreck.
Yeah, right there. You don't want to have that cause a wreck here with 2 laps to go here in stage number 2. It's Justin Michaels there in that 87. We have Greg Mall in the chat. Says waiting for the 87 to botch this one. Well, the 87 hasn't botched anything quite yet here in the over-the-top Designs Xfinity Series out of NASRA. Has won 3 races in a row. The 87 is clear of second place for about almost 3 seconds there here as we cross this line here on lap 64.
Greg, where are you placing your bets? I need to know the betting site. I need to know the over and under for this.
This is true, Tim. As right now, Justin Michael's going to lead them down the backstretch here. Like I mentioned, has about a 3-second lead on second place as we go down into corner number 3. Justin Michael in that 87 is going to round 4 right now. Going to take that white flag here on stage number 2. Ooh, got a little loose there on the exit of 4. Across this line here, going to lead him around here on the last lap of stage number 2.
Man, just Dustin Scruggs down. Oh, Dustin Scruggs hard into the wall.
Dustin Scruggs makes a hard impact, a little drift racing
Oh
down into that
man.
pit road wall.
We're gonna have to go back and take a look at that. We know that he was battling with Robert Richards, trying to get a line at Vegas. That's great, Greg. And now the 87 is going to come across the start finish line and win stage number 2. But we have very pertinent things to look at here, Will.
Yes, sir.
We need to figure out what happened to Dustin Scruggs. Oh, uh-oh. Where did my... Okay. So if we go here... Uh-oh. It's not letting me...
Take a look here as we're getting that information up here. As Justin Scruggs, we saw a hard impact there to end stage number 2. We've had no on-track cautions here, ladies and gentlemen. Just 2 cautions overall on the track.
Oh, there's a lot of damage to that 48 as well.
Yeah, and I believe we got that 48 on the radio here. See if we can't catch up with him real quick. That's Robert Richards there. In
Oh!
It looks like I can't move him up here, Tim. It might have to be you.
Wow. Sorry, I was just taking that in. Let me see. Where is he? Oh, there he is. Okay. I can't either.
Look at that. As you see Dustin Scruggs in that 11. Hard impact there on pit road.
So it looks like the 48. We're going to go back and take a look again. 48 got into the wall, and the 11 was trying to miss him. You're going to ride on board with that number 11. Battling hard. Look, he's kind of, the 48's kind of stepping out right there on the, coming out the corner. And then you're going to watch the 48 smack the wall right there and come right down into the Dustin Scruggs. Scruggs does a great job saving it through here. But I think his problem comes when he comes down pit road. I think something was broke. Just the way the car is sideways. Look at it there. He's going to come down pit road right here. Touches the grass. Tries to slow it up. Not enough. And it just breaks right into the inside wall. And I believe that blew the engine.
Yeah, and that's not good for that 11 of Dustin Scruggs there. But as we're under caution here, we're going to step aside for just a short break here on 10-4 Broadcasting. We'll be right back with live action out of the Over the Top Designs Xfinity Series brought to you by NASRA. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, we are back live here at the Windy City. And Tim, I'm going to hand it off to you. I'm going to go speak with Race Control about a little concern we have on the track, and I'll be right back here to join you back in the booth.
Thanks, Will. Man, halfway over with this one. Now it's going to be a sprint. Well, I won't say a sprint. 70 laps is far from a sprint here, but they will be going green flag. We've not had any cautions. We've had Adam Newbert had an issue on track. Scruggs had an issue. Scruggs is officially out of the race. You see that number 11 on the scoreboard says out. Richards, Newbert, Abbott down pit road. How many stages has the 87 won in a row? That was stage number 11, Darren. 11 stages. Nobody has won a stage since, let me go look at the schedule. Nobody has won a stage since Auto Club, September 1st. Yeah, I want to make sure that's right. Hold on. 1, 2, 3. No, no one has won. No one else has won a stage since August 25th at Daytona. The rest of the stages have been that number 87 of Justin Michael. I almost called him Shawn Michaels. What is this, the WWE?
That's the Heartbreak Kid there, Tim. As I'm now back up in the booth with you, I think we may have gotten that situation fixed there. Spoke with some of the drivers here in the over-the-top designs Xfinity series. There goes Justin Michael taking the green flag down into corner number 1 here. I just saw that question in the chat there, Tim. He's about 11 in a row there. If my
11.
calculations are correct.
Correct. See, I told you somebody would want to know, Will.
Somebody else is keeping track there, Tim. Almost like a scorecard in baseball. But keeping score here. Raul Meza in that 37. Trying to put that 37 in victory lane.
Oh, I did
there.
see somebody go off. James Haney in that 55. No harm, no foul, though, it looks like. I don't see any damage to that Ford Mustang, so back up front. Now, here is my question to you, Will. I mean, we've not had, typically if drivers can take some gambles, they do it early on in the race. Is this still a time where you think you can attempt to make a gamble? Maybe you are Newbert, okay, 7th place, you've got some damage. Is this a time where you try to make up that by kind of flipping the coin?
Yeah, if I were racing in this race, Tim, there's not a lot of drivers in tonight's field. It's been kind of a calm, cool, and collected race. No on-track cautions. I'm starting to feel now here on lap 72, you're looking at around just under about 70 laps to go. In my mind, I think this is where the race really has begun there, Tim. We got our first couple pit stops out of the way. We've gotten comfortable in the race car. I know what lines work. I know what lines don't work. I know which guys to work with here so far here tonight. I think, in my opinion, we're going to start to see a few of these drivers really try to push their way up to the top. We're going to start to see a little bit more aggressive racing here as we head down the backstretch down into corner number 3. As I say that now, the 8 of Pappas is right on the back bumper of Raul Meza as we hit corner number 3. Because, like I said, Tim, the first half of this race, the drivers have been taking notes, kind of strategizing, and now we're going to start seeing those strategies being implemented here on the track.
Yeah, now, I think these drivers are really going to push themselves in this stage. In all honesty, I feel like Justin Michael has kind of coasted to the last two, or these 2 stage wins here tonight. He took a chance, and then the next one he was just he went down pit road. He totally flipped. Daggone mother. These daggone bots.
Yeah, it wouldn't be a 10-4 broadcasting race if it wasn't for these bots jumping in there. They love watching our races here on 10-4 broadcasting, but we love watching the action here on the track. As now Papa's on the 8s right on that door of the 37 heading down into the corner there, battling up for second position. And with that speed they're gaining from battling it out, that 87's right in the point of view as well, as the 8 of Papa's is going to go to the inside here on corner number 3, trying to ride that momentum up to catch that. 87 is going to squeeze the 37 just a little bit there on the outside wall here as we cross the line at lap 76. Coming down into corner number 1, Justin Michaels is going to still lead in that 87. The 8 of Pappas is still on the inside. It has a big run down into the corner. The 87 seems to be losing a little bit of speed as we head down the backstretch.
All right, that's taken care of. Sorry, it makes me click on every single one of them and report it. But now I'm back watching the action here on 10-4 broadcasting. This is, I think these guys are going to have to push the limits to this 87. They're going to have to force him to be uncomfortable. And by making him uncomfortable, they're going to make him race harder and use up his stuff more. Or make a mistake. like Greg said earlier, he's waiting for the 87 to botch this one. So maybe that's what's going to happen here tonight. Maybe Greg knows something we don't know.
Yeah, as I just talked about, Tim, I feel like that first half of the race, these drivers really took a lot of notes, got those pit stops out of the way, found their
Woo!
windows, if so to say. As now we're seeing big battles up here. Ooh, that was a side swiper of a move there from the 37. Is really trying to work his way around the 8, but with all this battling taking place right there, here comes Haney in that 79 trying to creep up as we head down the backstretch.
Man, I was looking back because I thought I saw somebody smack the wall, but looks like it was just my eyes playing tricks on me. This, we've not seen much from Pappas all night, but look at this! Look at this battle for second place up here. And if you are Michael, this is what you see. Let me show you what Michael sees. Michael sees this. He's like, all right, y'all keep battling. Make it difficult to get up here and get around me. Because the longer they battle, the more, first off, he's not using as much tires as they are, and he's going to be able to pull away.
Yeah, coming down into corner number 3 right now, riding on board just to Michael there. That back fender point of view, if you will, back bumper as that 87 is going to cross the line here on lap 80. We've hit the 8-0 mark heading down into corner number 1. No on-track cautions here so far as 87 is going to take us down into corner number 1. Pappas in that 8 and Meza have seemed to simmer down just a little bit in that second spot. But as you mentioned, Tim, the 87 just watched all that action behind him, said, okay, cool, guys, you go ahead and battle it out. Haney was saying the same thing in that 79 because you saw when they were side by side there for a few laps. He was thinking the same thing. Go ahead and just battle it out, guys. I'll come zooming by there in that 78 machine as we head down the backstretch across the start-finish line here, on the front stretch. Lap 81 as Michael's going to lead them down into corner number 1. As this lap ticks down and that tire wear starts to come into play, Tim, you have to also remember we're going to see some more green flag pit stops here.
We are. And that could be happening within the next, I'd say, 10 or so laps. We're lap 81, last putting down pit road, lap 65. So, probably about 15 laps. Lap 90-ish, 95 area. 95 area is going to be pushing it. And they would still have to gun down pit road for that last 50 laps because we are going to lap 140. Now, Will, I'm going to make a bold prediction. Are you ready for this?
Let's do it.
Westbrook to the Pacers. Period.
You can only hope there, Tim. You can only hope that the Indiana Pacers can actually not only obtain a superstar in the NBA, but hold on to a superstar in the NBA. It's okay.
Rest in peace, Paul George.
I'm a Chicago Cubs fan. We're just like the Indiana Pacers of the MLB. Every good player we have, we lend out to the other great teams. So right now, as you're taking a look at Justin Michael, still our race leader here, has now built up to about his lead's actually ticked down just a little bit up there as Pappas in that 8 is now got his sights set on there. As you see, it's starting to flutter just a little bit there. Goes to about a second and then ticks down to about 80 tenths. So right now the 87 still leading the way here on lap 84 in the over-the-top designs. 140 live from Chicagoland. And speaking of Chicago there, Tim, being a Cubs fan, I was also a huge fan of Derrick Rose. I'd love to see him maybe end up on the Mavericks there towards the end of his career. He win a championship before it's all said and done. He's got an MVP. He's got a Rookie of the Year. He's got a couple All-Star nods. Of course, those injuries slowed him down there towards his career. He's actually re-energized his career now. He's actually a jump shot shooter. He can shoot from mid-range pretty good. I know we're talking about basketball here on the racing broadcast, but I'd love to see him end up on maybe either the Bulls to retire or the Mavericks to maybe get a chance at a ring at the end.
Hey, to me, sports is life. Basketball, football, NASCAR, hockey, I don't know what that is. Baseball, I'm unsure. I think that retired back in the 1900s, but
just like you don't talk about Bruno, you don't talk about baseball here at 10-4 Broadcasting. As Justin Michael in that 87 is going to lead them down the backstretch here, down into corner number 3. Our race leader here so far coming into tonight's race with 3 wins in a row in this series. He's got his turkey dinner last week, and Tim, I believe that's 3 wins and 3 starts there for that 87.
That is. This would be. He's working on win number 4. I don't know when you came back from talking to the other drivers, but what I was telling Darren was the last time anyone won a stage was the first race of the season at Daytona. Other than that, it's been Justin Michael.
It has been Justin Michael there in that 87 machine. And I gotta say there, Tim, I broadcast a few different leagues, so do you here on 10-4 Broadcasting, and we've seen dominance in other series. Just to name drop a few names. Caden Tufts and the Modifieds actually having a tougher go of it this season.
Mm-hmm.
Before his exit, Matthew Badby in a high octane, really won a lot of races last year in that series. No longer in that league this year. And another series I call, it's Nick and Delicato, the driver I just spoke about, had 4 wins in a row. But that's throughout the season, Tim. This driver, Justin Michael, in this 87, is coming fresh. It's going to be hard. You got to have a bit of nerves for your debut race. No nerves at all. Won his first race, came in his second week, won his second race. Third race, comes in, wins his third in a row. So no nervous, no anxiousness at all out of this 87. And you see it here tonight, Tim. As I just mentioned just a couple laps ago, he only had about a second lead. That lead's grown to about 3 seconds now.
Man, this is now at this point, Will. This is where if I'm those guys in second, third, fourth, fifth on back, this is where I start thinking, is this where I start playing my strategy? We've got 50 laps to go. If they come in and pit, okay, they're gonna have 4, as you like to call them, freshies. They're gonna be faster than Michael until he comes in. But the issue is, you kind of got to do it without him knowing that you went down pit road, because he's going to come right down pit road the next lap if he finds out that you're trying to gain an advantage on him.
As we're creeping down with about 50 laps to go here live from Chicagoland. And Tim, my rebuttal to that is watching this 87 head down the backstretch here, or excuse me, the front stretch here at Chicagoland. The backstretch, it's a little confusing. They all look the same here at Chicagoland as he's digging down into corner number 3. In that 87, I guess the flip side of that, Tim, is if you stay out longer and everybody's down pit road, right now you already have about a 3-second lead. If you let everybody head down pit road and you lap the field, and then you head down pit road, is that a big enough gap to where you can still come out the leader?
I believe it is, to be completely honest. Because he's already, like you say, he's almost 3.5 seconds away from second place. And he just keeps putting more distance between the two. And there's a battle back here for third place between Pappas and Haney.
Yeah, there's still a battle for a position on the track. I know we got mesmerized with watching that 87 dominate here once again at Chicagoland, as Haney hit a little bump on the track there, going down into the corners. A big move to throw the inside block there on that inside lane of Pappas in that 8. Right now, this is a battle for a podium finish here at Chicagoland. That's a great way to end the night, even if you don't have a lot of drivers in the field here tonight. It's always a good feeling when you finish on the podium.
It really is. Especially, Haney last week. Any of these guys, Phil Pappas down pit road. I believe it's anybody's race still. Where's I'm looking for Zach Hartwick. He's back in ninth.
There, Tim.
Yes, so he's back in ninth right now, trying to catch back up, and that's the name of the game, is trying to make that short pit happen.
As you see now that Haney in that 78 is going to head down pit road here. Right now, still watching. Looks like Adam Newbert's in the lead. Justin Michael is now down pit road in that 87, Tim.
Yeah, so like I said, you can't get an advantage on on him. I thought he might come down at the same time, and that's exactly what happened. Man, what a race here tonight. Nothing but green flag racing. We like to see it. Adam Newbert, your current leader. He's led a couple of times tonight.
Yeah, still a long way to go here, Tim. We're looking at around 56 laps still to go here from Chicagoland. Justin Michael was up there in the lead in that 87. Still an awesome effort out of Hartwick as well in that 24. Got a few laps here tonight. But our points leader, Adam Newbert, is our current leader on the track with Abbott right behind him. And it looks like Adam Newbert's going to head down pit road there in that Ford machine.
Ooh, locks it up. Coming down pit road. You see these guys the whole time tonight. They've been locking them up, trying to get slowed up and down pit road. Brian Abbott down pit road as well in that number 82. So now, once it's all, well, Zach coming down pit road right now as well.
Yeah, there goes Zach Hartwick down pit road in that number 24 William Byron, a inspired race car. The way I learned about William Byron and his history of begging his parents for iRacing, begging his parents for an iRacing rig, and finally getting it, and started just racking up victory after victory after victory, and then finally convinced his parents to put him in the Legends series there, which is, I would say, in my opinion, Tim, that's the minor leagues of stock car racing. Once you get into that Legends racing, you kind of just pipeline your way up into the real thing. And
Yep.
William Byron did that there. And once I learned about that history, I'm like, man, for all these nerds out here, you could actually end up in a race car one day yourself.
Man, anything is possible. Also, look at there's another uh, Klingerman. Is it
Right?
is that his name?
And Klingerman and Raja Karuth is up there as
Yes.
well.
Yes. So quite a few drivers have gotten their start in iRacing and have made their way into NASCAR. Just I love it. I love to see it.
And another driver that we've actually had the opportunity to broadcast as well is Ryan Vargas. He likes
Yep.
to dip down into the iRacing. I always love to see those posts where he drips down into the leagues, wins a race, and then deuces out there after winning just to say, all right, thanks, guys. I'll take that victory. I got to go race this weekend type of deal.
Yeah, that is always great. I'll tell you what, I love when NASCAR drivers actually put together and try to race with their fans online. There was a couple during COVID. I got to race with some drivers because they were putting on events for the fans that were just stuck at home.
That was a very cool opportunity as well, Tim. As now we're about to creep up on that century mark here live on 10-4 Broadcasting. Justin Michael just does just that, hits that century mark. He's going to lead them down into corner number 3. Our race leader by almost about 5 seconds on the track right now.
There's going to have to be one more pit stop made. That's it's the only thing we're waiting for. One more pit stop because right now 39 laps to go. The question is going to be, when are these guys going to make that pit? And on that pit, I'm telling you right now, that is where you're going to see strategy played out. Is people are probably going to take just fuel, no tires, or they'll take 2 tires. We'll have to wait and see as we see the 87 going around. James Haney right now putting him 1 lap down, and now Zach all the way back to the start finish line. He's about a half a lap behind the leader right now.
Yeah, about a half a lap behind the leader. But Tim, with 39 laps to go, if you're Raul Meza in that 37 or Haney in that 78, what's your mindset like right now in that race car?
Man, it's this was so nice about being the driver that's leading right now. You are so comfortable. You could, he almost could probably do what he did earlier and just try to save as much fuel as he can. Because right now he's almost 6 seconds ahead of second place, 6.66 over third, 7 over fourth, 8 over fifth, ninth. I mean, it's this Justin Michael's unstoppable. And you know what? Just well, I can't say that word on the stream, but just for funsies, okay? Just for funsies. I'm gonna go look up Justin Michael on iRacing.
just to see, we'll get an inside scoop of Justin Michael there in that 87. Right now has about a 6-second lead on Raul Meza in second place there in that 37. Gonna put Hardway Cool as our race leader there for a couple laps, a lap down here on the track. About 36 laps to go here, folks. We're live on 10-4 Broadcasting, bringing you live action out of the Over the Top Designs Xfinity Series brought to you by NASRA. We're live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. We want to invite everybody to go ahead and subscribe, like, and comment on our videos. We love reading the chat throughout these races here, whether you're on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. We can see your messages pop up on the screen, so we invite you to do so here. We are broadcasting live here on 10-4 Broadcasting every, I believe, Tim, correct me if I'm wrong, but every Friday night, Thursday night, Tuesday night.
Mm-hmm.
Is that correct there? Currently, there's a lot of other races in the works so far, but you can catch us every Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday as Justin Michael scrapes the wall right there, but not going to be enough there. A little tortoise in the hair action there, but it doesn't seem to be slowing that 87 down too much. He's going to go down to corner number 3 still with about a 6-second lead.
Listen, you're not going to believe. Okay, first off, Justin Michael has an I rating of 4608 and a Class A safety rating of 4.99. You can't go any higher than 4.99, Will. Now, I rating, he can't go higher, but that 4600 is great. Now, let's take a look at these stats. Okay, he has 422 starts since 2014. All right? Now, the most impressive stat that I can read to you, 2015. Okay? He did 235 races, 46 wins, 109 top fives, 39 poles, average start 6th, average finish 9th. He did a total of 14,824 laps.
Oh my goodness.
His win percentage was 18.18.
And that'll get it done.
And top 5 was a 43.8. That's some great stats right there. And then in 2016, he did the same thing. He did 86 races, won 20 of those.
So essentially, we're looking at the, it's a little bit of a new age here. We're looking at the Steph Curry of iRacing here, really put up the stats in 2015, 2016, now in 2022. Try to rack up some more victories, add it to the resume, if you will, there. As Justin Michael's going to take us around corner number 3 and 4 here next time across that line. We're going to hit lap 110 with 30 laps to go here in the over-the-top designs 140.
And that's something else. We're now looking at this track at night. We started during the day. This track has transitioned to the night, and this is another thing I don't understand. Well, I look at this track under the lights. I love it. I really do. This is one of my favorite tracks, and in fact, I just moved to Indiana. I was like, okay, I can go over to Joliet, Illinois, and I think that's where it was called, the city that it was in. I could be pronouncing it wrong, but just next state over. I was excited for it. But, Will, I will say this. I don't care what anybody says. I'm excited for the road race in Chicago next year. I'm going to go July 4th weekend. I'm going.
See, I'm torn on that. Now you just mentioned the date of that as we're watching Haney and that 78 head down the backstretch here. I'm torn on that because I'm used to the July 4th weekend, the races being down in Daytona. You have that Saturday night race on the 3rd, July 4th on that Sunday. I'm a little torn on that aspect of it, but I was just about to say I cannot wait for these stock cars to hit a city race, if you will. It's something that NASCAR really hasn't done here. I know a lot of the old school drivers were itching for it while they were in those race cars. Right now, the only old school drivers that me and you really remember that are still giving it a go here in the Cup Series, or maybe Kevin Harvick is one that's still lingering around. Brad Keselowski's getting up there. Kurt Busch, he's basically semi-retired now. Those are the only 3 guys that me and you really remember, just going back, I'd say at least 10, 15 years.
Well, I even look at Kyle Busch. He's been in the league for
that's true
over, I think, almost 20 years. to be honest, because he was
Yeah.
15 years with Joe Gibbs, and with Hendrick Motorsports, I think it was 3 or 4, something like that. So, I mean, these drivers have been around for a long time. Joey Logano, another driver who's been
It's
around for a minute, you know.
right.
But for some reason, I think of these drivers, I think of them in their young gun stage.
You're right, exactly. Me too, exactly. So I don't think of them as the old guys, if you will. I think the only OG, excluding those guys, would be Kevin Harvick and Kurt Busch would be the
Yeah.
only two guys that would be the old heads, if you will, still kind of linger around in the sport. We always talk about here on the broadcast when we talk about point standings and wins and racking them up there. Kevin Harvick a few years ago had about 7 wins and didn't even get the race for the championship in the last race of the season.
And that's so if this is something I'm gonna tell you to go do, Will, if you've not been able to. I don't know how often you listen to the Dale Jr. download, but you need to go back and listen to the episode where he brought in Kevin Harvick. What an interview! Harvick talked about being thrown into the light. Having to fill the shoes of a champion like Dale Earnhardt, taking over that number 3 good wrench. At that point, the 29, and turn around and winning that race right there at Atlanta the following week. I mean, that whole story is just I I typically don't like podcasts, but I do enjoy listening to sports podcasts, talking to guys about their careers. I love it. I absolutely love it.
Yeah, the Dale Jr. podcast is one heck of a podcast. I've listened to it a few times there. I know I listened to the Kenny Schrader one when he was on there. But
Oh yeah.
one that I found very interesting, if folks that are watching here, still watching the action here right now, Justin Michael has about an 8-second lead on second place. That's why we've begun to talk about a couple other things here on the broadcast. The one that I thought the most interesting, and one guy that we haven't heard from in a long, long time, is Jeremy Mayfield. Jeremy Mayfield went on the
Yes.
podcast, and whether or not he was being truthful or honest about how the whole situation went down, it was still good to hear his side of things, because he essentially vanished from NASCAR there, Tim, if you remember right. Had a solid
More
career
like
going
got
and then just
kicked out.
vanished.
But anyway.
Right, exactly. And then just disappeared. You didn't
Yep.
hear from him, you didn't see him or anything like that. I mean, of all the things that some of these drivers have done, I killed the guy on the track, Tony Stewart. Jeremy Mayfield just basically disappeared. And they just never talked about it, never went over what happened. But on Dale Jr.'s podcast, was able to be open about what he went through, and what a wild story that was to hear. But back to the action here at Chicagoland. 22 laps to go here, ladies and gentlemen. Justin Michael in that 87 has about a 10-second lead as we're watching green flag pit stops take place once again.
And just a quick cool story. Will, I have always just loved NASCAR. Jeremy Mayfield was like my second favorite driver. Well, I liked Jeff Gordon, and then it was like Elliott Sadler and Jeremy Mayfield. Okay, when Facebook came a thing, yada yada. All of a sudden, one day I just told my friend Jonathan, I said, "Let me go see if Jeremy Mayfield's got Facebook." Randomly messaged him. Okay, found his Facebook page. Decided to message him. Told him how much missed him in NASCAR, this and that. And I was like, this can't be really. As we see the 87 coming down pit road, does a great job this time, no question. He made that pit speed. But sent him this long message, told him keep up fighting for, getting back in the race car, yada yada. And one day I got a message that said, I really appreciate that. I'm so glad that there's still fans out there that really look up to me. And I didn't think it was really him, but come to find out it really was.
Oh man, that is a crazy story there, Tim.
Like I did not expect that.
Sometimes.
You really don't, especially with social media. I've had the privilege of interviewing a couple of drivers, Thad Moffitt, Richard Petty's grandson. That was a pretty cool story. But yeah, NASCAR's just so entertaining to me. I don't know. People are like, how can you watch a car go around in circles? Look, we're sitting here at home broadcasting races because we love racing so much. We enjoy this. We love this.
I really do, Tim. You know, I've spread my wings since you brought me on here at 10-4 Broadcasting. I do Xfinity cars, I do Cup cars, I do modified cars, I do Indy cars now on Mondays. So it's a wide spectrum of racing. It's because we love racing here. Me and Tim both grew up watching racing. I grew up going to a lot of the races, just as Tim did as well, growing up down here in Florida. A lot of Daytona 500s, which
Oh
I'm
yeah.
jealous. I've only been to one so far in my lifetime. Joey Logano won that back in 2015. But I've been to a lot of races at Charlotte. Used to go in October, used to go in May, used to go to pole nights, Xfinity races, dirt track races, which was across the street from Charlotte. You know,
Love that
it's
track.
something about it. And I've gone to modified races in New Hampshire. It's just something about being at the track. This I had a lady come into my job actually, Tim, and says that a lot of her friends can't understand why she loves racing so much, and she talked about the atmosphere, the smells,
Yep.
rubber, the cars. You see everything. It's going to a sporting event is one thing. Watching this on TV, I'll be honest with you, it's not the most exciting sport, but you just have to go to a track and experience it in real life, and then you'll see why everybody loves it so much.
And that's really true. Uh, it's just it's something special, and uh, even you in your family name, you got a Daytona 500 win under your belt.
I surely do. My grandfather Bob Whitcomb owned the Whitcomb Racing Team with Derek Cope and that number 10 machine. Won the 1990 Daytona 500 when Dale Earnhardt actually blew a tire on the entry of three. Went high side. My grandfather's car was right there in the second position. They went low. Dale went high, and that number 10 car crossed the line in the first place position. Gave my grandfather his Daytona 500 championship. Wears the ring every single day. Has a trophy up there in the New England Motorsports Hall of Fame, right outside of Loudon, up there in New Hampshire. That's where his trophy sits.
That's awesome.
My uncle has the governor's trophy at his house, so the trophies are a little spread out, but still a champion nonetheless.
That's great. That's I love that. And it's just so funny, you and I running into each other, living in Vero Beach, of all
Yeah,
places. I don't know. It's just the world is a funny place.
very
We ran
funny
into each other
place.
uh, when you were putting on Madden tournaments. I'll never forget
That's
that.
right, exactly. That is exactly right there, Tim. We stayed in communication all this time as well. But talking about a funny business on the track, nothing's funny about how the
No,
way Justin Michael in that 87 has basically dominated here with 14 laps to go. Has about a 7 second, that's 7-0 second lead on second place right now of the 37 Al Raul Meza with 14 laps to go here, Tim. I mean, he could basically go and pull that car down in the concession stand, get him a Sonic hot dog like I had for dinner, maybe cranberry limeade, still have enough time to get back on the track and win this thing.
listen. I need to know how much Greg put on the line in Vegas for him to mess this up, because Greg's gonna be paying some money.
Indeed, just like I need Nick Chubb to score a touchdown at any point in the game that's going on right now on Thursday Night Football. Just anytime they want to go ahead and put Nick Chubb in the end zone, that'd be great. But right now, Justin Michael in the 87 is going to take us down into corner number three. Round four, he's going to cross that start finish line here with 12 laps to go here in this race from Chicagoland, live on 10-4 Broadcasting. And Tim, it's actually funny you spoke about my racing history and everything like that. My family's racing history. At that, my uncle actually went to the same driving school as Junior, at the same time, the Buddy Baker driving school. So my uncle was actually being fast tracked to be a NASCAR driver himself. And my grandfather always speaks about to this day that he wishes he would have held on to the team just a couple years longer, but we know how expensive everything is and everything. But my uncle would have been in the car next, it sounded like.
Listen, NASCAR is. I was looking at what it cost to buy an Arcatine the other day. So I was like, I could race these guys. They always crash their cars.
Right.
That junk is expensive.
And speaking of, we're sharing fun NASCAR stories here as Justin Michaels coming around corner number three into four. I caught up with my cousin. My cousin's around 23, 24 years old. Caught up with him during the holidays last year as Justin Michaels crosses that start finish line down into one. We were speaking about female drivers. We were speaking about the drivers I follow. Speaking of, gosh, Haley Deegan's one, things like that. And we were speaking about certain drivers, and he goes, "Oh, I've dated a female driver." I said, "Oh, who? Who have you dated? Who have you gone out with? Who have you hung out with?" We'll put it that. We will keep it. We'll keep it on the down low. And he goes, "Tony Bredinger." I said, "Tony Bredinger?" I said, "I follow her on Facebook." So I showed him the Facebook page, and he goes, "Yeah, I have her Snapchat." And I'm like, "Okay, there you go." Surprising news out of Tony Bredinger, an ARCA driver, as he's talking about ARCA there. She actually was just named a Victoria's Secrets model. So pretty
Wow.
good come up there for a NASCAR driver.
Yeah, for real. That's Danica Patrick ain't got nothing on that. That's
No, sir, not at all.
as we are approaching under 10 to go. No cautions here tonight, Will. I
No
expect that
cautions.
from these guys week in and week out. They really put on a clinic on how to get these races done.
Yeah, clean racing so far here tonight. The only cautions we've seen on the track are those breaks in the action, those stage breaks, if you will. 8 laps to go here, Tim. Justin Michael is all by himself up there. It's time to pop in those earbuds and listen to your favorite song here for the next couple of laps because looks like he's just going to go ahead and take these victory laps here. The next 7 laps here, as long as he keeps that 87 out of the wall or out of the infield or just park that thing in general, he'll win the race here tonight with 7 laps to go. He's got about a 7-second lead. It's almost like in the instances of those old NASCAR heat games, you get so bored racing around, you tend to hit the brakes, you wait for the rest of the cars to catch up, then you still win the race, and that looks like what Justin Michael could do in that 87 as he comes out of 4.
And I will say, on the talking about NASCAR drivers, NASRA actually has a his name is Blake. I'm gonna say Blake. If you're listening, if you're watching, I see you in the Discord. I apologize if I mess up this last name. Lothian? I think that's it. Blake Lothian actually drove. He was in his debut in the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series. He was in the number 43 truck. Was on April 4th, and I actually saw him race at IRP as well back in July. So these drivers are always digging into iRacing to make themselves better and better.
Yeah, and that's something that's really become an aspect now in cup racing or any kind of racing in general, whether it's ARCA cars, modified racing, Xfinity trucks you just mentioned there. A lot of these drivers, it's a different aspect of it, Tim. I remember the days growing up, you would hear about the test sessions, you'd hear about track time, and now it's almost like, because I follow Haley Deegan on social media, it's now a simulator time that gets mixed into the preparation for these
Mm-hmm.
tracks, and it actually saves a lot of, okay, you're going to dish out a lot of money for a sim racing rig, but it saves a lot of equipment, saves a lot of time, saves your body as well because you're not putting your body through all those laps on the track. So it's this whole new age of racing that I love.
And also to bring up your point, um, in the grand scheme of things, a simulator isn't that much for a driver.
Right.
If it's going to make you better, the investment is good. As Justin Michael, I didn't know his setup. Like, what's he got in that house?
As it looks like Justin Michael is inside the Matrix right here because he looks like Neo, the chosen one here in the over the top designs Xfinity series brought to you by NASRA. Because, folks, there are other cars on the track. I know it looks like that he's out here running basically ghost laps, if you will, but he has about a 10-second lead on second place. So he's going to have to wait a little while when he crosses that start finish line for the next car to come around. But Justin Michael in that 87 is going to dig down into corner number 3 with 2 laps to go. He's going to take this white flag. And man, Tim, with a 10-second lead here, creeping up to the white flag, he's going to head down to corner number 1. It looks like, for all intensive purposes, Justin Michael is going to make it 4 in a row here in the Over the Top Designs 140.
4 in a row and 12 stages in a row. Man, what a just keeps pushing and making it happen. I just I don't know who can stop him. Well, I think next week is a road course as we take the checker flag here. Justin Michael winning 4 in a row, and look at that. Haney's gonna bring it home in P3 again.
And ladies and gentlemen, we invite you to count to 10 right now because there's a 10-second lead on second place. They're going to have to go around the track there as Raul Mez is going to come home second, Haney in third, Adam Newbert in fourth, and Pappas is going to be our top 5 tonight at Chicagoland. What a race, Tim. It was exciting there. It was exciting throughout, but it was exciting there for the first couple of stages. And once Justin Michael, like I mentioned there before, that last run of about 65 laps, once he figured out the strategies, the windows, how to hit these lines here at the Windy City, he took off like an Elon Musk rocket, and it went from a second to 5 seconds to 10 seconds as he's burning that thing down on the front stretch.
Yeah, he really he was about to lap. Look at that. The 24 had a great run here tonight. Thought he was gonna put forth a win, but just the long green flag run took him down to 8th place. Abbott in 7th, Richard 6th, Pappas in 5th. Had a great run tonight. Newbert fought back, brings home the number 4 in 4th place. Haney is in 3rd, Meza in 4th, and Michael is going to bring home the win again.
And that's 4 in a row for Justin Michael in that 87, doing my favorite burnout where you put that nose on the outside wall. You burn down those Goodyear Eagles, Tim. And there's not much adjectives we can use to describe the way that Justin Michael has come in week in and week out. 4 starts, 4 wins. It's going to be odd to see him finish outside of the top 3 if it ever happens here in the Over the Top Designs Xfinity Series brought to you by NASRA. As you see now, he's going backwards here at Chicagoland. Tim, we head, I'm not sure where we head to next week here. I'm going to check that schedule.
We head to Darlington.
Ooh, the lady in black. Okay, so we look at this is just looking at it as the 87s celebrating here tonight. So Justin Michael has won Auto Club, Phoenix, Texas, and Chicagoland. Now, with the exception of Texas Speedway, Phoenix Auto Club and Chicagoland have similar layouts, in my opinion, there, Tim. You have the wide, low banking corners, kind of zoom around the track. Texas is more shaped like Charlotte, but it also has those wide banking corners you can kind of get around. Then we're going to go to Darlington next week. That's a completely different track that we've seen the last 4 weeks.
Yeah, Darlington, both turns are totally different than one another. It's really going to challenge these drivers, and I don't think Michael will be able to just run away with it. And Snyder in the chat says Justin had a single screen with steering wheel attached to desk till a couple of months ago. We're gonna have to ask you about his setup when we talk to him tonight.
Yes, sir.
I want to know what he's upgraded to.
As it looks like you're catching up with our second place finisher, Raul Meza, in that 37. Take it away, Tim.
Man, what a long, I won't say long race, but those long green flag runs can really put a number on you as a driver. People just think you're sitting there turning the wheel, yada yada. If you got good force feedback going, you might sweat a little bit. Oh, I think I lost. Hello? Are you there, Raw? Or Raul?
Yes, sir.
Oh, there he is.
How's it going, fellas?
How's it going, man?
Sorry about that, man. I was out grabbing a drink.
See, exactly. That goes right in the case in point of what I was bringing up. Just because you're sitting here in this simulator, these long green flag runs can really wear you out, especially with the amount of force feedback you may be using.
They are. They really are. We're not running 30 minutes, 45 minutes out there. It's quite a while, and just hydration is good.
What do you think you could have done different tonight? Your car looked good all night. Let me take a look here. You finished. You jumped through to finish in 5 spots ahead of where you qualified. You got up front early and really stayed up there pretty much the rest of the day. Is there anything you could have done different to get on the winning side of this tonight?
Think so. I don't think so, man. He was out there, and I saw these guys pit earlier, a lot earlier before stage one ended. So I knew that these guys were obviously out there with a strategy. So, but I doubt it. If anything, maybe a caution. If a late caution would have came out at some point, it would have kind of tightened the field a little bit, giving us an opportunity to make a run for him. But uh, staying green, I don't think there was much I can do, man. He ran pretty well out there.
Yeah, well, I mean, listen, this is a P2 for you. You are currently. Let me pull it up real quick. I had it and I lost it. Oh, here we go. So I was looking for. After Texas, you are currently you were sitting eighth in points, but you finished ahead of Brian Abbott. Ted Wade was not here tonight. You finished ahead of Keith Haney by one spot, and you were. Let's see how many points were you behind Keith. You were about 30 points uh, behind Keith. So you might jump up to about sixth place in points. That's a great. Every week it seems like you're jumping up in the points, finishing pretty well. I think that win is coming. Is there any track on the schedule that you circle as that's your track?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. There's a few of them out there, but you can feel as confident as you may feel, but if it just doesn't go your way because you're caught up in something that wasn't caused by you, it kind of ends
Hmm.
those results. But yeah, there's a couple of them out there that we can run pretty strong and come out with a good solid finish. We've been able to run pretty good in these leagues, but we do get caught up in some of these incidents, and the results don't show.
Yeah. Well, next week we head to. I just told Will where we go. Oh,
Darlington.
Darlington. There we go. How do you feel about going to Darlington?
I feel good. I feel good. Last time I was there, I was taken out, but if we can stay out of trouble, if we can, manage to just run a decent pace out there, I'm sure we'll be able to have a good run. Feeling pretty good.
Awesome. Well, congratulations on your second place finish. Anybody you want to give a shout out to?
Yeah, yeah, guys. For sure, you guys at 10-4 for putting out a great show out there for all the viewers. I want to thank everybody at NASRA for sure, starting with Mike and Brady and TJ and all the guys that come together to go out there and put something fun and exciting for us to come out there and participate. My team for sure, my team and teammates at Warrior Racing Esports, my sponsor for sure for hopping on board on all my leagues and all my paints, Surf Pro. And for everybody viewing, for everybody that's out there checking us out, man, NASRA is it's a very 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 great place to be at.
Awesome. I can attest to that. I race. Oh, you also race Friday nights in the truck series as well. We have a great time over there. You can check them out. I believe on Racecraft TV. Am I right?
Yes, sir. Yes,
Okay.
sir. You got that. You got it right. Yeah.
I just want to make sure because I'd seen a different schedule and I think I was looking at the wrong thing. But yeah, tomorrow night these pretty much these same guys will be racing, and tomorrow night we're going to be racing at Hickory. So if you want to check that out, go make sure you go over to Racecraft TV, and you can see us racing there live. But again, thanks, Raul, and we'll see you next week at Darlington.
Yes, sir. Thanks, guys. Thanks for everything.
Man, well, hearing him say, he felt that there wasn't anything he could do. Um, you just got to be happy with a second place finish when it comes to finishing second to a guy like Michael. Are you there, Will?
I'm saying, Tim, with that type of finish there in the second position, we talked about that through the broadcast. What your mindset would be there, watching Justin Michael just basically drift off like a mirage. That 37 held the lead for just a little bit. Actually, battled it out there with Justin Michael there for a
Yeah.
little bit of a race there. But once that 87 got around, we saw it for actually a first person point of view. That 87 just drifted off, drifted off, drifted off, drifted off, and it turned into a puddle in the desert, a mirage, if you will. And that 87 just ended up winning by 10 seconds.
And I believe you've caught up with our winner uh, down in Victory Lane.
I am catching up with our race winner, Mr. Four in a Row himself. We've called you now the Steph Curry of the Over the Top Designs Xfinity League here at NASRA. There's no adjective to describe winning four in a row other than the fact you're going to go for five in a row next week at Darlington. Justin Michael in that 87. Take us through how you did it here tonight. And man, were you listening to music the last couple laps? Because you won that race by over 10 seconds.
Well, we were just that last run. We were just really trying to take it easy and save the tires, just in case a late race yellow came out. I wanted to have an advantage. That's why the run before that, I just kind of hot lapped and tried to pull away from everybody. I wanted to be able to just kind of rest and relax that last run.
Yeah, we watched the first half of this race, the first couple of stages. We saw your strategy in stage one of staying out. Stage two, you kind of figured out a different strategy. You stayed out, but without having to sacrifice too much fuel. We spoke about here on the broadcast about how those first two stages, about how you drivers kind of like take notes, you strategize, you figure out your windows. And that last bit of racing, I'd say we had about 65 laps here tonight, is really where the race begins. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I agree. The first couple stages, just you don't want to you don't want to get any damage. You don't want to ruin the car or anything like that. You want to be able to be there for that last stage. So it's a little more give and take. And then the last stage, if it's close battle, it's all take. You're not going to give anything then.
Yeah, we saw it there, that last bit of race. We saw you battling out there with Raul Meza. Our points leader, Adam Newbert, was up there as well, especially that 48 of Richards was battling out there with you up at the top. Once you got around that 37 of Raul Meza, did you start to feel that not only were you the fastest car on the track, that you could win by such a large margin?
I didn't know it went by a large margin. No, I know we had a really good long run car versus everybody else. It seemed like after about 15 laps or so, we would just start picking up, a tenth or two every single lap, and that would really help us get out, pull away from them. But the first, 10 or so laps, it was pretty grouped together, and luckily nobody out there is a, bad driver. Everybody's out there is pretty good. As you can tell, there's no yellows, um, so you kind of get more confident out there with them. So it's but everybody, it was a good night, good run for everybody too.
Yeah, you win four in a row. And we had a viewer in the chat, Greg Mall, say he was just waiting for you to sort of blow it up. His question was if that 87 passed Tech at the end of the race. I believe he might have had some money on this race results here tonight. Did that 87 pass Tech, and are you looking forward to Darlington next week?
Well, I think we blew an engine there at the end, so we'll have to put a new one into Fast Tech. With all the oil loss and everything, probably won't make weight, but um, Darlington will be fun. It's really a driver's track and really technical. So usually we run pretty good there. So I haven't raced with these guys here yet. So maybe one of them will be able to do something better. But we're looking forward to it.
Yeah, and Tim, my co-host there, he actually went and Googled you a little bit there, found out you've had an incredible run on iRacing so far. Actually, also had a viewer say that you had a single screen with a single steering wheel attached to a desk a couple months ago, and now you're winning four races in a row. What can you attest that to, and what's the key to having so much success here in iRacing?
I tell you, yeah, we started out on a no, was it a 13-inch MacBook when you could race on Macs in this game, and it was just a basic steering wheel, and upgraded to a decent computer, but still a single monitor. Did that for years, and but yeah, back I don't know 4 or 5 months ago, we put a rig together, got a triple screen and a really high end computer. So, but yeah, just a lot of practice. I've been doing this since the mid '90s, so it's a lot of practice. A lot of repetitiveness with these cars. So just you just need the experience. And but there's people out there that I can't race the Pro Series. They crush me every time I run with those guys. So it's I don't know where they get their speed at.
They're
And you
cheating.
had plenty. Yeah, right. Had plenty of speed here tonight, Justin Michael, and that 87. You win 4 races in a row here in the Over the Top Designs Xfinity Series. Gonna go to Darlington next week, but Justin, I think you know the drill here, as we've spoken to you 3 separate times here in the Xfinity Series. Anybody that you wanted to shout out that you might have watching here tonight? Any sponsors you would like to name, and where people can find you on social media?
My friend Darren out there watching as always, and apparently Greg's out there watching. I know he's traveling, so we always appreciate them watching. And you guys call great races always. Brady puts on a great leg, and John over top for putting on the sponsorship here. But Scott Patton out there, Patton and Pates for painting this car. He always does a good job.
Awesome, Justin. Well, a big congratulations once again from us here at 10-4 Broadcasting. You make it 4 in a row. That's 4 starts, 4 wins so far here in this series. Going to go for 5 in a row next week here, next Thursday here in the NASRA Xfinity Series. Congratulations, Justin. Have a great rest of your week. Have a great weekend and go celebrate a little bit here tonight and get ready for Darlington next week.
Thanks, guys. Have a good night.
Yes, sir. That was Justin Michael there in that 87. Makes it 4 in a row here, Tim. And he spoke about how he had to battle there for just a little bit, almost humble in saying that he had the fastest car on the track, but he didn't know he won by such a large margin there by about 10 seconds. Basically, he kind of wrote it off to being the fastest car on the long runs. And that was especially apparent there, winning by about 10 seconds. You could see the speed in that 87 throughout tonight's race.
Yep, you really could, and he had talked about having to drive from the back, and I mean within the first lap he had already gained 5 spots back, so really didn't expect him to uh, have issues, and he did not. He proved that. But Will, next week on to the Lady in Black.
Yes, sir. Cannot wait for that race next week. We've seen what these drivers can do on these speedway races. We got a little bit of a taste of almost a short track with the Auto Club in Chicagoland, but it's a whole different Lady in Black next week here on 10-4 Broadcasting.
Yeah, we just want to say we'll be back here next week, same time, 8:30. Don't want to miss tomorrow here on 10-4 Broadcasting. High Octane Sim Series heads to their second week of the playoffs. Uh, Will, I don't remember.
I believe we hit the Sonoma tomorrow.
You are right. So tomorrow night, Sonoma, 8 o'clock. They're over there competing for a championship. Only 4 races to go in that series. And Will, as always, a pleasure calling the race with you. Thanks for coming on board with me. And from all of us here at 10-4 Broadcasting,